The first time I heard her voice again, I was sitting alone in my kitchen at 2:17 a.m., staring at a cold cup of coffee I didn't remember making. And I swear to God, my heart stopped when she whispered my name exactly the way she used to, soft and tired, like she had just come home from a long day at work. "Ethan, come here, baby." And for a second, just 1 second, I forgot she had been dead for 8 months, buried in the ground after a closed casket funeral I still have nightmares about. And I even turned my head toward the hallway like an idiot, like a child expecting his mom to be standing there with that old blue robe she always wore. But the hallway was empty, dark, silent, and yet the smell hit me next, that same lavender perfume she wore every single day. And I felt something crawl under my skin because smells don't just come back from the dead. Voices don't just return. And yet I heard her again, clearer this time, coming from deeper in the house, from her old bedroom. "Ethan, please." And that word, please, was wrong, because my mom never begged, never sounded scared, and suddenly I wasn't comforted anymore. I was terrified, frozen in that chair, my fingers gripping the edge of the table so hard they hurt, because something inside me knew that wasn't her. It couldn't be her, but it knew me. It knew her voice, her tone, the way she stretched my name just slightly at the end. And before I could stop myself, I stood up, every instinct screaming at me to run out the front door. But my feet didn't listen. They carried me slowly down the hallway, each step heavy, the floor creaking louder than it ever had before. Like the house itself was trying to warn me. And as I got closer to her bedroom door, I noticed it was slightly open, just a crack, even though I always kept it shut, always, because I couldn't stand looking at her empty bed. And then I heard it again, right behind the door this time. "Ethan, open the door." And my throat went dry, because now her voice sounded off, like someone trying too hard to sound like her, like a recording played through something broken, stretched and twisted just enough to feel wrong. And I whispered, barely able to get the words out, "Mom?" And for a moment, there was silence, complete and suffocating. And then something inside the room moved, a slow dragging sound across the floor, followed by a soft, wet breath that made my stomach turn. And then it answered me. "Yes, it's me." But it wasn't, because my mom didn't breathe like that, didn't sound like something was rotting inside her chest. And I stepped back without realizing it, my hand shaking as it hovered near the doorknob. And then the smell changed, the lavender fading into something sour, something like damp earth and decay. And I knew I should run. But then it said something that made my blood freeze completely. "Why didn't you visit me?" And suddenly I was 12 years old again, standing in front of her after forgetting her birthday, feeling that same crushing guilt, and tears filled my eyes before I could stop them, because I hadn't visited her grave in weeks. I kept making excuses, telling myself I was too busy, too tired, and now here she was, asking me why, and I choked out, "I'm sorry," my voice breaking, and the thing behind the door went quiet again. But this time it felt different, heavier, like it was listening too closely. And then it whispered, softer than before, "Then come inside." And the door creaked open a little more on its own, just enough for me to see a sliver of darkness inside the room, a darkness that didn't look natural, like it was thicker than it should be. And I swear I saw something move in it, something low to the ground, twitching. And that's when I finally understood. I wasn't talking to my mother. I was talking to something that had been waiting, something that knew exactly how to pull me in. And my chest tightened as panic finally broke through the fog in my head, and I stumbled backward, shaking my head, whispering, "No, you're not her." And for the first time, the voice changed completely, dropping the act, becoming something deeper, harsher, layered with a sound like multiple voices speaking at once. "You don't mean that," it said. And the door suddenly slammed open with a force that shook the walls. revealing the room in a flash of dim light from the hallway. And I saw it. Something crouched beside the bed, its shape wrong, limbs too long, bent at angles. They shouldn't bend. Its head tilted in a way that made my neck ache just looking at it. And its face. Its face was trying to be hers, stretched over something that couldn't hold it properly. Her eyes too wide, her smile too big, splitting at the corners like it didn't fit. And it spoke again, perfectly in her voice now. "Ethan, don't you love me?" And I screamed, stumbling backward until I hit the wall, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would explode. And it started crawling toward me, slow at first, then faster, its limbs scraping against the floor with that same dragging sound I'd heard before. And I turned and ran, not even thinking, just running straight out the front door into the cold night air, barefoot, gasping, not stopping until I was halfway down the street. And when I finally looked back, the house was dark, silent, like nothing had happened, but I could still smell it, that mix of lavender and rot clinging to me. And I didn't go back that night, or the next, and I told myself it was stress, grief, something my mind created to cope, until 3 days later, when I got a voicemail on my phone at exactly 2:17 a.m. And I stared at it for a long time before pressing play, my hands trembling. And when I did, I heard her voice again, clear as day, gentle and familiar. Exactly how I remembered it. And for a moment, I almost believed it was really her this time, until she said something she had never said to me in her life, something that made my blood run cold. "I found you, Ethan. I'm coming home."